My name is Roman, and today I'll be presenting a presentation on Vancouver. It's becoming a technological hub. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? So, what's happening in Vancouver? Well, we got a lot of big tech companies moving in, or a lot of tech companies already there. They're changing the culture, they're changing the look of the place. It's becoming a much more modern place. You got Amazon, Microsoft, companies like that. You even got small companies starting up and building their foundation in Vancouver. And so far, Vancouver is seeming to turn into a technological hub, but is that good or is that bad? Some of the big companies that are already here are Amazon, Microsoft, Electronic Arts. You have Hootsuite as well, which is actually a startup company that started in Vancouver, and now they're one of the top companies in Vancouver. These are some of the popular startups that found their roots in Vancouver. You got Hootsuite, like I just mentioned, Plenty of Fish, which is a dating website, D-Wave, which is a hardware manufacturer for computer parts and sound parts, Daya Foods, which is actually, it's not a tech company, but still, Daya Foods and Vega are food-related companies, and they're still finding their roots and starting up the companies in Vancouver. And it seems like Vancouver is a really good place to grow your company and to develop further into becoming a big company like Microsoft or Amazon. Some people say that the overwhelming influx of tech companies in Vancouver is not good for the culture, but with such examples like it's being overcrowded with the same type of people, all these tech-minded people, it's becoming more of like a young place, a hip place, and they say it's not going to grow naturally. But on the next slide, showing that that's kind of what the future is, that's kind of what culture will be like. Vancouver is only turning into a city just like San Francisco or Seattle, which is already a technical hub. And you can't really say that's a bad thing, because nowadays technology influences culture and vice versa, because you have music, you have websites, you have streaming sites, you have phones, you have laptops. All this is part of the culture, and it's all technology. So far, tech companies and tech-related businesses are taking up 21.8%, is that? 21.8% of the downtown office space. And that's contending with the finance sector and the professional sector as well, as opposed to 20 years ago when they had, around 25 years ago when there was no tech sector in Vancouver. And now they contend with the finance sector and the private sector for space, and they're only growing, and there's no signs of slowing down. But why are companies moving to Vancouver? Well, first you got good things like it's a new booming culture. This is very attractive to new applicants to these tech companies like Microsoft, like Amazon, like SAP. The new hip culture, they like to be more modern. They like the restaurants in Vancouver. They like the transportation in Vancouver. You don't have to drive. You can live kind of close to Vancouver. You don't have to live quite in Vancouver, but there's a lot of transportation, a lot of easy ways to get yourself into Vancouver and work. So it's cheaper with in the way of transportation. Second, a lot of these companies deal in American dollars. So them actually coming to Canada and hiring up Canadian talent kind of gives them like a discount when they use their American dollars, because the American dollar is so strong right now as compared to the Canadian dollar. So they're pretty much buying good Canadian talent at a discount. And third, obviously, is Canadian healthcare. That's a huge thing. That's a big plus to a lot of the working force of all these companies. Because in the US, it's kind of complicated and convoluted, and it's hard to get healthcare. Sometimes you're allowed it, sometimes you're not. But here, it's pretty straightforward as long as the company insures you and all that. And in the end, tech is good for Vancouver. All this tech company, all these new advancements, the culture, it's only pushing Vancouver further and putting Vancouver on the map. This is only going to benefit us. It's creating Vancouver in the likes of modeled after like Seattle, like I said, San Francisco, New York, all these big cities that you hear in the US. Vancouver is becoming one of them and putting its mark on the map. And that's all we got for today.